Hello and welcome to Saki Tech. In this video I'm going to give you over 50 tips and tricks for the Samsung Galaxy S5, which is a fantastic phone. Now, you either have this phone or you want to buy one. Either way, you will learn tons of tips and tricks that is going to enhance your ownership or show you what the phone is capable of in case you want to buy one. Both the phone and the stand that I'm using for the phone were purchased off of Amazon.com, and I'm going to leave a link in the description below so you guys can go buy them if you need to. Anyway, let's dive right into the tips and tricks. Alright, so the first step is that you can in fact control your camera using voice commands. Let me show you how to do that really quick. So if you launch the camera, on the top left you'll see the options button. Okay, and there's a lot of options here you can go through, but here's the one that I'm talking about, the voice control option. If you turn this on, what you can do is you can say smile, cheese, capture, shoot, and you can say record video. If you say record video, it records the video. If you say the other four ones that I mentioned, it will take a picture. So let's try that out really quick. Capture. Okay, so that took a picture. So let's record video. As you can see, that has started to record the video. Okay, so make sure you enable the options from the options panes. It's at the bottom here, and it's called voice control, and then you can actually take shots from a distance. You can actually have the camera look at you from a distance and just say cheese or smile, and it will take a photo of you from a distance. Okay, so let's move on to the next one. So there's a new option here that actually is pretty cool. It's called a toolbox. If you enable the toolbox, oops, let's get rid of that. If you enable the toolbox, you have this little toolbox that you can actually float about in the screen and put it anywhere you want. If you tap it, it gives you access to your most favorite applications. Now, it comes pre-populated with other applications in the beginning, but what you can do is you can go to that quick toggle options, and if you don't see it here in the quick toggle options on the top in the notifications panel, just press this 4 squares button, and it's going to give you the full quick toggle options. And there's a toolbox. Now, to customize your toolbox, you press and hold this option. Okay, and that is going to take you into the full settings. And from here, all you do is you tap edit, and then you can actually take the calculator off, take the camera off, put the calendar on there. Let's say you like Chrome, you can put Chrome on, you can put the clock, but you can only have 5 maximum apps in your toolbox. Okay, so there's 2 more here. Memo, take that off, put the maps on, just click save, get out of here. And now if you tap your toolbox, and you can also move this around like I said, tap the toolbox, it's going to show you the calendar, Chrome, internet, maps, and all that stuff that you like. And then of course you basically just tap any of these guys and it brings out the app. And a quick side tip for you guys, when you pull this notifications panel down, you're going to get your quick toggles right here. All these quick toggles will allow you, let me just turn this off for now. All these quick toggles allow you to go into the actual settings menu that is relevant to each toggle. So for example, Wi-Fi. If you press and hold, you're going to go into the detailed Wi-Fi options. If you press and hold Bluetooth, it is going to take you to the detailed Bluetooth options. So for example, press and hold, and there you go. These are the detailed Bluetooth options. If you simply just press it, it turns it on or off. But if you press and hold it, it goes into the detailed options, alright? And also, since we're talking about the quick toggles, you can also actually rearrange this whole pane up here according to what is more important to you. So if you press the 4 squares button here, and then you get this pen option, you click that pen button, and from here you can actually move these guys around. Okay, so take this guy and they swap places. Okay, so if you take this guy, put it over here, they switch places. So you can take everything that is more important to you and bring it to the top. Alrighty? And you also have the option to, if you pull this down, you see that there's the brightness control bar right here. You have the option to take that off if you don't need it, okay? If you like it, you can keep it. If not, just disable it. And then the final thing I want to go over in the quick toggle settings is the recommended apps option. The recommended apps option is like this. So if you tap this, what it says is, when you plug in, for example, I'm just going to give you an example. If you plug in your earphones, it is going to, in the notifications panel, show you the music application. Okay, so if you read this, it describes what the recommended apps does, and it is in fact a pretty neat feature. Now the next thing I'm going to show you has to do with the settings view. Okay, so if you, let me just delete this. If you go into the settings, compared to the old Samsungs, it looks a little different. Okay, so this is called the grid view. You can actually change this back to the tab view that we used to have on the old Samsung devices. How? What you do is you tap this options button on the top and basically just click tab view. So now you still have all the options that we were looking at in the list view, but in the grid view I mean, but now you have it under its own tabs. Okay, so let's go back to the list view. We had the grid view. Let's look at the list view. This is the list view. So everything is just listed. Network connections right here, connect and share, sound and display. My favorite is in fact the grid view. So today, as I give you more and more tips, we're going to keep the grid layout. Alright, so the next step is where you can actually change the transitions when you're swapping between the home screens. So this is one form of transition, and then you can pick another one under settings, sound and display. You tap on home screen and then you tap on transition effect, and you can do the 3D rotation, which is going to change the look a little bit. And you can also pick none, which is going to give you nothing. It is a straight through swipe over. Now one of my favorite tips is the one where you can go into the messaging app and you can actually change the background and also change the form of these bubbles. How you do that is you go to the messaging app, click the settings, go into the settings, and then you can actually go to display, and from here you can pick a background style. So you can have this, and it even gives you a preview. Save, and you can have a bubble style. So what kind of bubbles do you like? Okay, so that's looks nice. And then you can also change the font size using the volume key. Alrighty, when you're in the actual message. So if I'm in the message right here, watch this. Where's the volume key? Right here. So volume down lowers the size of the font, volume up increases the size of the font. You can go as high as this. And just one quick tip about the notifications panel. If you use one finger and pull down the notifications panel, it takes you to your standard notifications with the brightness control and all that stuff. Now if you use two fingers to pull it down, it takes you to the whole suite of the quick toggle options. So normally, if you pull it down, your quick toggle options are here, and you have to scroll over, then you have to press this button on the corner to reveal everything. Okay, but with two fingers you can pull the whole thing down right away. Alright, so the next tip is where you can actually change the fonts on your phone, and you can change the size of the fonts. So again, if you go to settings under sound and display, what you want to look for is display, and under display you want to tap on the font. From here you can pick a font style. So tap that. You've got a bunch of preloaded options here, so you can go for Choco Cookie, and this is going to change the font scheme in your entire phone. Okay, so if you go out, everything has changed, even the little descriptions under the icons. And if you go over, the weather has changed and everything has changed to the new font. Now one more thing in the fonts, in display, font, is that you can go and tap this download icon here, which is going to take you to the store, and from the store you can in fact purchase more of these guys. So most of these guys are only $1. Okay, if you like one that you really like, you can download that and you can make that your font. And then the other thing you can do is you can change the font size on your phone. So if you have bad vision or if you have extra good vision, you can change the font a little bit. Let's do extra large. So as you can see, the size changed. And you can also do medium, which is a nice size. I'm just going to keep it at large for now. And let's change back the font to the normal. Alright, so one more tip. Let's enable the air view and see what that does. So if you go to, you can actually find this probably in the quick toggle options. If you press the squares, 4 squares up there, air view should be somewhere here. If it's not here, all you want to do is go to settings, go to motion, and find air view. If you tap that, and if you turn this on, what you get access to is a very nice feature where you can hover over certain items, and it's going to give you a quick pop-up, like a summary pop-up showing you what you're looking at without going into the details. For example, the calendar app, the gallery app, the video player, and the phone app. So let me just show you an example. So if you turn on the air view, you can do things like these. Let me give you a quick example by going into the gallery mode. Into the gallery app. So if you go to apps and you tap on gallery, here's the pictures. So I have the air view enabled. Let me hover over one of the pictures. As you can see, I get a quick preview. I'm not touching the screen, okay? So you just hover over the screen. There you go. That's the video. There's another video right there. Okay? That's another picture. You can do the same in the calendar app. You can do it in the phone app and in the video app. Now, as you guys know, if you tap and hold the home button, you get the Google searching option on. If you double tap it, normally it brings the S voice. Now obviously Google search is much better than S voice, at least in my opinion. So if you want to cancel S voice, so if you don't want it to come when you double tap the home button, what you do is you go to settings, go all the way at the bottom, it says S voice under applications. So you tap that, and all you want to do is you want to untick this box. So open via the home key. If you untick it, now if you double tap it, it is not going to come and bother you needlessly. But if you press and hold this, you get the Google Now. And from here you can search anything you want. Now as you know, at the bottom here you've got 2 capacitive buttons. So if you tap this, at the bottom here, they actually light up and the light goes right off. Okay, now this is the multitasking button here. Okay, and this is the back button. What you can do is you can change the duration of the light that they remain on. So if you go to settings, and if you scroll down to sound and display, and go into display, there's an option here that says touch key light duration. So here's the options you have. You can have it go off in 1.5 seconds after you touch these guys, right here. Okay, so watch it. It's gone in 1.5 seconds. You can do 6 seconds. You can have it always off or always on. I like to keep them always on because it reminds me that there is in fact buttons down there and I don't want to press them accidentally. This could affect your battery life, but not by a large margin. Now another quick tip is where a lot of people go to the Play Store and they download these flashlight applications that are basically worthless. All you do is, what you want to do is you want to pinch your screen, tap on widgets, and pick the torch widget, and you want to put this on your home screen, and then if you tap it, that lights up the torch. Okay, so that is very convenient, very easy to use. It does not take any space on your device and it's free. So another good feature is if you go into settings, on the top what you see is, if you go all the way to the top, you see what is called quick settings. Okay, so quick settings are your most used settings that you can actually move to the top under this quick settings tab. So what you have to do is you have to go and edit the quick settings menu. So if you press this options button here, all you have to do is press edit quick settings. Once you click that, from here you can pick whatever you want. For example, let's say you don't want the lock screen or the wallpaper. You just uncheck them. You want the brightness, you just check it and then click save. and all those things will actually populate on the top here under quick settings. And this is a very handy feature because you don't want to go around looking for some weird settings that you don't remember where they are at. So by putting them in the quick settings options on the top, this makes access to your settings and customization much more easier. Now here's one of my favorite options. What you do is you go to settings, and under one-handed operation, which should be under sound and display, you can actually enable the one-handed operation. So if you have small fingers, right, you can decrease the size of the screen. So all you do is you do a V from outside the screen. You just do a V from one side of the screen. You can do it from this side or this side. This is all you do. And that is going to drop down the size of your screen. Now you do have a couple options here. First of all the physical keys that you have down here, you got the home key, you got the back key here, and then you've got the multitasking key, actually transfer over here, so you can multitask using this now. Okay, and you can change from screen to screen, but that's irrelevant. The bigger thing is that you can actually have some quick access apps on the side. So if you press this, that brings up your quick access contacts. Okay, I just put 2 here just to show you guys, but you can put more. You press this pen right over here. This pulls up your contacts, and from your contacts, all you do is you can grab any one of these, like AT&T service contacts. Oops. Press on the picture and hold and drag it over here, and it goes right to your quick access contacts. Okay, so let's say okay here, and let's go back, and now you have 3 quick access contacts. If you tap them, the phone gives them a call right away. And if you don't want it, you can actually tap that contacts icon on the top and it disappears. Now the other thing you can do is you can actually put quick access apps on the side. So then you want to press this button here. Now you've got the quick access apps. Again, you can press that pen button at the bottom here, and then from here you can drag and drop. So let's say I want the gallery. You can drag this and drop it right over here. And if you don't want something, you just press that red delete button that is on the top right of each app. So if you press that, it disappears. Press that, disappears. Press that, it disappears. Okay, so you've got the contacts, and then you've got the apps, and then you can disable it. You can resize this thing, and you can go make sure it goes back to full screen. So let me just show you one more time. Oops. Now you got to do it right. Okay, it looks like you don't even have to do a V. All you do is in and out. Okay, so let me just show you that one more time. There you go. So you can do it horizontally. It doesn't have to be a V like I said in the beginning. Anyway, what I was saying was you can actually resize this. You can make it smaller. You can make it bigger. You can move it and put it on the other side. Depending if you're left-handed or right-handed, you can put it either way. And then if you're done with it, you can just press this full screen button on the corner, which sends your phone back to the normal full screen mode. Now the other tip I want to go over is what is called data management. Okay, so you know that you pay a lot of money to go online on your phone, and you don't want to waste all your data. So go to settings, and under network connections, where it says network connections, find data usage. When you tap that, this is going to give you a nice screenshot of where you're using your data the most. Okay, so it looks like I've been using Google Play Store to download apps a lot. Okay, so most of my data was used for that purpose. And then you can also see, you can pick a time period. So from March 27th to April 15th, I used 386 megabytes of data, and you can change that number. Okay. Also, you can tap on each one of these apps, and it gives you a nice little pie chart showing you how much you've been using. Okay. And in the foreground, you use 32 megabytes. In the background, you used 184 megabytes. Background could be background processes like updating your apps foreground could be things where you actually directly download apps. Okay, so let's go back, and if you press any one of these guys, same thing. You get a pie chart. In the foreground, this is how much I used. In the background, without me knowing, this is how much was used. But this is a perfect way to manage your data and make sure you do not go over your allocated data plan. Okay, so Samsung gives you some fancy options to customize your phone a little bit, and one of them is the one that is called Easy Mode. So if you go to Settings, and if you go to where it says Personalization, you can tap on the Easy Mode, and what you can do is you can choose this option, click Done, and from here your phone actually switches from the non-easy mode to the easy mode, which is going to look like this. So on this side you can add some contacts. Over here you've got the weather, the clock, the calendar, and a couple apps that you may want to use. And over here you have other apps, and then you can add more apps by pressing this plus sign. So if you do that, you can pick any app, put it right there. And then you also have easy settings, which is a simplified version of the settings. Now, how do you disable this easy mode to go back to the full scale TouchWiz? You go into the easy settings, you go into the easy mode, and then you go back to the standard mode by clicking this and by clicking Done, and then you have the full scale TouchWiz. Oops. And let me quickly show you my magazine interface, which you just saw. So you do have, if you swipe over here, you can pull the magazine interface, and from here you can add news, you can add your Google Plus feed, your YouTube feed, or any kind of random news anytime you want. And the way you do it is there's an options button on the top here. You press settings, then you get a whole lot of options here that you can add. So you can add news, and you can pick different categories like photos, sports, styles. But what is really nice is you can actually add your social media. So you can add your Google Plus, Flickr, Twitter, Tumblr, and YouTube, and 500px, and I'm sure Facebook will be added soon as well. So then once you pick what you want and you go back, they're all going to show up here in this view. And let's say you want to go and check your Google Plus feed. You tap this, and it's going to take you to your Google Plus feed. Alrighty, and that's how simple this is. So that's a nice way to quickly access what matters to you. Now, one more thing about the My Magazine interface is if you pull this over, like I said, you get the My Magazine interface. You can turn this off if you don't like it for now, and you can turn it back on if you want to. So if you want to go to the settings, you want to go into home screen, and here you'll see My Magazine. You can uncheck this box, go back out, and My Magazine is not there anymore. So now it's just going to scroll through your home screens. Now, the other thing I want to show you has to do with the lock screen. So if you go to the lock screen, turn it off, turn it on, there's not much going on here. You got the clock, the weather, and just you have to swipe to unlock your phone. So let's go and play with that lock screen a little bit. So what you want to do is you want to go to Sound and Display. Under that, you go to Lock Screen, and from there, what you can do is you can actually show the date on the lock screen, and you can add a camera shortcut to the lock screen. You can change the clock size from large to normal, okay? And you can also have a little quote on your lock screen. So if you tap that, I just had Saki Tech, you probably saw that, but you can turn this into a little quote. Alrighty, so Saki Tech YouTube, just so you can see it, the difference. So now if I go back to the lock screen, you're going to get the weather, Saki Tech YouTube, the date, the time, and then you can swipe to unlock. And one more thing that was there was quick access to the camera. So if you swipe this, it takes you straight into the camera. Alrighty, so let me just go back to the settings, lock screen, and here's how you disable the camera or enable it. Same with the date. And the other thing I want to tell you is, as long as you have the screen lock security set to swipe, you will get all these options. So if you set up a PIN number, you're not going to get all the options available. Alrighty, so if you have the screen lock set to swipe with no security, which is not recommended, you will get all the options. And then you can also you can change the unlocked effect. So I have the water color right now. I can change it to the ripple. So if you do that, now you get the ripple effect. Okay, and then you can also do the popping colors effect. Okay, which is actually my favorite. And then there's also a stone skipping effect that I hate. I'm not even going to show it to you. Alright, so the next step is where you can actually disable this percentage meter for the battery on the top. So if you go down to the settings and you scroll down to where it says System, tap Battery, you can actually uncheck that battery meter, and that gives you a little more space up here. If you like it, you can keep it. I like it. And then what you can also do is you can tap any one of these things here that shows you what has been using your battery. So that's a nice way to manage your power. You know that your screen is using 49% of your battery. That means you can lower the brightness a little bit, okay? So if you tap this, it'll give you a little more details. Oh, and the other thing I want to show you under System was, again, go back to Settings and go to the System, which is right here, and tap on where it says Storage. So you have some nice storage management options here. Basically, you can see how your storage is being used. So the system memory is using 4.51 gigabytes. The use space, if you tap on it, tells you how much your applications, your pictures, your audio, and your downloads are using, and you can see at the bottom here. So my pictures are taking 19 megabytes of space. My applications are taking 737 megabytes of space. If you go back, there's something called cached data that gets saved on your phone temporarily that you can actually delete if you want to. So that is using 29.23 megabytes. If I need some space, I can tap on this, and it's going to ask you, this will clear your cached data. If you click OK, that 29.23 is gone. It's cleared. Sometimes this is a very large figure, so this could be very useful. And then you've got available space, and then you've got miscellaneous files, and if you tap that, gives you some information about that. Okay, so that is nice for storage management. Now, one of the big things in this new Samsung Galaxy S5 is the ultra power saving mode. So if you only have like 10% of battery life left, you know it's going to die quickly if you go online or even if you call somebody. And then you got the screen brightness eating up most of your power. What Samsung did was amazing. So if you go to your U power saving means ultra power saving. If you go inside, press and hold to go inside, and there's some descriptions here. But if you turn this on, your phone literally changes. It even tells you your battery percent is 84%. Using that, you'll be able to run this phone for 10 days on ultra power saving mode. So if you press this, see what happens. So your phone basically turns into a grayscale, bare bone machine. And basically all you have access to is your phone, your messages. So if you go to the phone, it's going to launch the phone app, but it's going to be grayscale. You can go back and you can add more apps. Okay, you can add up to 6 apps. Now if you want to get out of ultra mode savings mode, all you do is you press this options menu here and you press disable ultra power savings mode, or you can go into settings. If you tap the settings, you have options to some low-level settings, okay? Not all of them, but just a bunch of them. But if you want to disable this, press that, press OK, and you're back in business. Alright, so this tip is pretty advanced. It has to do with what is called the private mode, where you can actually hide certain files in certain apps from other people. So you can actually check certain pictures in the gallery app as private, and people will not be able to see those pictures. People can still go into the gallery app, but they cannot see the pictures that you designate as private. So let me just show you how to enable this. Let's go to settings, go to where it says personalization, tap on private mode, and then from here what you have to do is you have to turn this on. Once you turn it on, it's going to ask you a PIN number that you pick. If you never did this before, it's going to ask you to pick a PIN number. I already did this, so I'm going to just put my PIN number in. And now the private mode is on. If you pull this down, you'll see it says here, oops, go back. You'll see that it says here as well under the notifications panel, private mode is turned on. So while the mode is turned on, you can start working on the files that you want to hide. So let's do the, let's see. Let's go to gallery. Let me see if there's any pictures here. So I did take one picture here. So let's say that I want to make this particular picture private. What I do is I tap and hold. Oops. Tap and hold. And once it is selected, I can do two at a time. So let's do two. Press this button. And then what you want to do is you want to say move to private. Okay, so now these guys are private items. I can see them right now because the private mode is turned on to actually make these things private. To actually hide them, you have to turn the private mode off. So let's go back into private mode. You can scroll down and go straight through here. Tap this. If I turn this off and I say OK, and if I go back into the gallery, oops, those two pictures are gone. Okay, they're private. So what if I want to see them again? What I want to do is go back to settings, go under personalization, tap private mode, turn it on, 0, 0, 0, 0. Okay, and now that is turned on, I can go back into apps, gallery, and those pictures show up right here. But you can also see that they're tagged as private. There's a tiny icon on the top left of each picture that is supposed to be private. So the only way to see these is to turn on the private mode. The only way to make anything private is to actually turn on the private mode. And then you want to turn it off so other people can see it. Now this option applies to the gallery app, the videos app, the music app, so you can hide music too, the voice recorder app, and the My Files app. Now the other thing I like is if you get a lot of messages, okay, what you want to do is you want to go into a message. Let's say somebody sent you a message and you just want to tell them, I'm going to give you a call back in a minute. What you can do is you have an access to quick responses. And if you tap that, you can just pick one of these guys and say, I'll talk to you soon. And it just pops it right in there. And then you click send. And it sends the message. Now what you can do is you can create custom quick responses that are catered to you. So if you go into the settings and scroll all the way down under the messages, under applications, messages, you tap that. What you can do is you can go into quick responses, and from here you can add new ones. For example, plus new response that I just created. There we go. By the way, this is a floating keyboard that you can also do. All you do is you press this button here. You go to the settings of the keyboard, and from there it actually changes the keyboard from a floating keyboard to a attached keyboard. So again, you press this button here. You can press this guy, and it changes back from a floating keyboard, which you can move around anywhere on the screen. Oops. Or put it back where it belongs. Okay? Anyway, so you create a new response and you save this. And if you go back out to the messages, now you can access it right over here. So quick responses. Here's the one I create at the bottom here. Tap new response. Okay? So that's a very useful feature if you get a lot of text messages. Okay, so a bunch of final tips here that you can play with as well. If you go to apps drawer, on the top there's a button, you press this and you get a lot of options. Some of the options here that I like are that you can hide apps. So if you press this, you can pick apps like AT&T Family Map, AT&T Locker, and just hide them. So you will not see them here anymore. Okay? I mean, I've never used them myself, so it's nice to just being able to hide these guys. So now they're not there anymore. And the other thing you can do is you can actually uninstall and disable apps just by tapping the button there. So if I press, just as an example, Geekbench, I can just press uninstall and it will go away. Okay, but I'm not going to do that. And then if you tap this button, there's other options here that you can play with. You've got the help option, you've got the create folder option, show hidden apps. If you hit any apps, you can click this and it's going to show them all. Then you can have the Galaxy Essentials, which are a bunch of apps that they think you should download. Okay, they're all free from Samsung. And one more thing I want to show you guys is the heart rate sensor. So if you go into apps, and if you go into S Health, the first time you tap on S Health, it's going to ask you a couple of questions. It's going to ask you to give your name, your weight, your age, and stuff like that. But once you're done, you come to this screen. So once you're here, here's the heart rate application at the bottom. If you tap this, all you do is just press OK to this. You grab the phone and you put your finger where the flash is, not the camera, where the flash is. And you'll see a red light. Okay, and then I've been talking for a while, so it's probably, that's why it's high. But it measures your heart rate, it gives you a number. Okay, and then you can do it again. If you press start, again, you put it at where the flashlight is at, right here. Try to keep still and quiet. And then it shows up right there. Okay, so that is the heart rate sensor. That is one of the new features on the phone itself. Another tip is where you can actually enable the developers options menu, which is actually hidden. So when you go to the settings, you can look all over. You're not going to see the developers options, which is a hidden menu reserved for developers only. But if you want to see it anyway, what you want to do is you want to go to where it says System. You want to type About Device, tap it, go down, tap where it says build number 7 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And then now you have a developer's mode enabled. If you go back here, you're going to see it right here under System, Developer Options. If you go inside, you've got a whole slew of options you probably don't want to touch. The only one that I think is touchable is this one, where it says Show Touches. So if you enable this, what's going to happen is anywhere you touch on the screen, there's going to be a white dot that follows your touch. So that tracks exactly where your finger is touching. This is how the phone registers your touches. Okay, so if I touch right here, that was the area where the phone registered my touch. Alright, so that brings us to the end of this video. Go ahead and subscribe to my channel for more videos to come. Give me a thumbs up if you liked this video, and also you can go ahead and connect with me socially on Google+, Facebook, and Twitter, for which all the links are in the description below. Thank you again, and I'll see you the next time. And if you have any questions, comments, concerns, just throw them down in the comments section below.